That was a step backwards. Avs lose to the Arizona Coyotes 3-1. I think I might be bad luck, as I missed the first 10 minutes of this game, and the minute I sat down, the Avs started getting steamrolled. But we're getting ahead of ourselves there. I did go back and watch the first 10 minutes, and a few things actually happened during that time, unlike the rest of the game. Less than a minute in, the Avs get victimized by a tough bounce. The Avs are going to lose a race for the puck here coming up the near boards. Once Arizona collects, they're going to send it in deep, and Perlini is going to pick it up in the corner. From there, Perlini heads behind the Avs net. Johnson is going to pressure him as he's coming behind the net, which I like. And he also puts a great poke check, knocking the puck off his stick, which is great, except Varley doesn't realize this has happened and is expecting Perlini to come around the far side and is holding on that far side post. Meanwhile, Johnson's poke check ends up bouncing off of the end boards and then off of Perlini's back skate and slowly just seems to trickle out on the near side. From there, Zadorov is not expecting this bounce at all and gets caught a bit unawares, gets cleanly beat by Reeder to the puck, and it's a free goal. Not really the start the Avs were looking for, obviously, but you weren't super concerned yet. It's still Arizona, by far the worst team in the league, and you figured the Avs would be able to bounce back. For the next couple of minutes, the Avs really don't generate anything, but then a smart play by Johnson gets them back on the board and tied 1-1 before the 5-minute mark. The Avs create a turnover at the half boards. Landeskog has the puck and is just going to shoot it over to Johnson. From there, Johnson is going to turn back and get it out of danger. And when he turns back to come up the ice, he realizes that Arizona has gone for a complete change. Meanwhile, off-screen, Rantanen is waiting, cherry-picking at the top of the neutral zone this way. Johnson has already seen him here and quickly sets up for the stretch pass. Hits it perfectly to Rantanen. Rantanen gets to skate in and just a laser beam from him. Great play by some of your best players, and now it's right back to where you should be. Arizona, a struggling team, gets caught. You should have momentum now, and this game should go in your favor. And for Rantanen, that extends his point streak to 7 games, and he really seems to be slotting in nicely behind McKinnon as the Avs' number 2 scorer at this point. At his current pace, he could hit 70 points this year. I can't even tell you the last time the Avs had 2 players over 70 points. Okay, so I looked it up. It was 2006-2007, 12 years ago. But we're probably getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We'll see if Rantanen can keep that pace. The next 5 minutes of hockey consist of absolutely nothing. The Avs going through the neutral zone is like trying to get past Snorlax without a polka flute, and Arizona just doesn't play that well until the 10-minute mark. Enter the 10-minute mark, I come in and start watching the game live, and Arizona starts to take over. The last 5-on-5 shot in the first period for the Avs would come with over 11 minutes still left in the period. Meanwhile, the Coyotes would put 8 even-strength shots on goal in the second half of the first. The Avs were lucky to just get it into the offensive zone with possession in the second half of that period. Despite the horrible possession, the Avs would get a power play late in the first. They would get a couple of shots on goal during it, but wouldn't manage to get that big goal. Then, with a minute left to go in the period, the Avs would take consecutive delay of game penalties for throwing the puck over the boards. It sure looked to me like the first one hit off the glass before it went out, but that's not how they called it, and it was basically a full 2-minute 5-on-3. It did get split 1 minute roughly in each period, and Arizona proved that they are still Arizona by failing to score on it. Alright, great. So you start the second off by killing off a 5-on-3. This should be the momentum swing against a weak team like Arizona that you're looking for. Nope. Teams would trade power plays in the early goings of the second period, with neither of them scoring. The Coyotes were clearly getting the better of the chances to this point, hitting a couple of posts, and the Avs should be lucky to consider this game tied at the halfway mark. The Avs continue to seem just totally asleep out on the ice, doing virtually nothing. In fact, they would just get 5 shots on goal total in the second period. That's not good enough. Then after that halfway mark, it seemed like the Avs finally had an odd man rush going, and somehow it all falls apart in the blink of an eye. Johnson has joined the rush and successfully crossed the blue line before dishing to Jost. Jost is going to take this puck in along the far boards, and once he gets down, he's going to opt to pull up here. Now, what he's eventually going to do is pass it back and through the middle, trying to hit Yakupov. That's a pretty dangerous pass. With Johnson leading the rush here, that means you only have one defenseman back. With Yakupov being the forward back, well, you know that's not going to be the best option. Jost still goes for that pass back to Yakupov. Yakupov was expecting it to be on his stick, ready to rip a shot. It's not even close. It's on the other side of Yakupov. He's not able to react to try and get anything on the puck. It's right up out of the zone for Keller, and now it's a 2-on-2 back the other way. But, yeah, still Yakupov defending, so that's going to be a little rough. Keller clearly takes the space given to him by Yakupov, pulls up, finds the pass across the middle to Goligoski, and Varley can't get over. Not sure what Jost was thinking there, and he would pay for that mistake on the bench as well. He played under 8 minutes tonight. In fact, he would play just 6 more shifts after that goal, despite there being half a game left. And that goal pretty much summed up the game. The Avs were just getting outworked, out-hustled, outplayed, making silly decisions, and getting beat by the team that deserved to win the game. On offense for the Avs, it seemed like basically there was just nothing going on. No penetration with the puck. It seemed like they were happy to settle for point shots that had virtually 0% chance of going in. It's tough to watch because you know they're better than this. This year they've proven that they are better than this. And this is one of those down games. I know they're going to happen, but it's still not fun. Near the end of the second, the last 5 minutes or so, the Avs finally show a little bit of life offensively, but you know they're going to have to be much better than that in the third to put this game back together. And when they come out in the third, they do push hard, and it looks good. It looks like they could easily get back into this game, but you have to wonder, if they had come out like this, and not even the full 40 minutes of the first 2 periods, but at least half the time, or maybe the majority, they would have this game in the bag. But now it's the third period, and Arizona's starting to lock it down, and Arizona has hit a couple of posts earlier in this game, so now it's time for that to come back on the Avs. The Avs would ring 2 posts during this push to push it up to number 24 and number 25 on the season. And this is what happens when you let teams hang around and take the lead from you that have no business beating you, really. All of a sudden, Ronta gets hot in net, and the bounces aren't going your way, and you end up not being able to score even though you've turned it on. If you want to be a good team in the NHL, you just can't put yourself in situations to lose games like this. So despite the hard push, it gets hampered by a penalty roughly halfway through the third, and after that, it's kind of back on the struggle bus for the Avs. Any chance for a comeback gets dashed by just a disaster of a play by the Avalanche late in the third. Nieto's going to loft the puck up the far boards. It's going to bounce all the way up to the point and still be kind of bouncing at this point where Barberio collects it. Barberio has a ton of safe options here. He can go across D to Girard. He can flip it up off the glass as the safe play to get it deep. He can even bring it across to his forehand and throw this puck towards the net. Basically, all he has to do is not throw it directly into Lawson Krause. That's exactly what he does. He panics at the bouncing puck and just whacks at it on his backhand right into Krause. That leads to a break the other way. Barberio loses this foot race clean. He cannot keep up at all. So that leaves Girard as the only man back, and really he's barely level with this play as well. So he just tries to cut over and play the man with the puck. From there, Krause does a great job to get this puck across to Archibald. Girard just kind of gets caught in the middle. Eventually Archibald goes back to Krause and it's a tap in. And that's how you lose to the worst team in the league. And that's not to say it was all bad. There was the goal by Rantanen, and I thought Compher, again, played particularly well, had a number of good chances. We're just starting to see that pattern of him not finishing still. In that third period push, you saw some good chances, particularly from McKinnon, but Ranta was just hot at that point, so it was too late. When you really only play 10 minutes of the full 60, putting on consistent pressure against the worst team in the league, that's not okay. I'm just going to leave it there. I know it's a shorter video, but there just wasn't much going on for the Avs tonight. Just bad, bad, bad. So that is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. If you keep an eye out, the World Junior Championships is going on right now, and it does go on through the first week of the new year. Shortly after it ends, there will be a new prospect podcast out talking all about that. I'm Rudo3, and currently Arizona is on pace to tie the Avs 48 points from last season.